Hey everyone, it's me, Crystal and Mitchell. I'm here for story time. So this story time, I will have to call it hood story time. So I don't like to really talk about these stories because, like I said, my first book, the beginning of her story, like I said, I thought it was, well, I still call it inspirational. And one of my friends brought it to my attention, was like, this is considered a tell-all book. And I was just like, and then someone read and was like they look at it as an urban novel. So the first book, the beginning of her story, then the second book, which I still got on hold, those I plan to make it the only two books that will talk about drugs and all this other stuff. So the second book, I am to reach those that's in the streets to try to turn them away from that type of lifestyle. So I was on a good path, but I got my two Goliaths that I gotta sit here and put that on pause to tear them up right quick. You know, Here to jump into the third book. So what the story I'm gonna tell you, I know some people they gonna like these kind of stories, but I already told you one story about the Monopoly money story, which I did not want to tell you that story, but I have to because it's relevant to what I'm uh to the story, manifested only to destroy. So if you ain't seen that video, it's basically talking about how, I wrote about a psychologist, end up meeting a psychologist months later after I finished the book. And, the following year, how I went to California, how I was supposed to win back. He was playing, and I had him cancel the trip, and he wanted me to pay him for the flight. And I had put it on my brother, and I didn't want to be lying on my brother, so I never said if it was real or fake. So I sent him the fake money, Monopoly money. So then the woman that I had manifested, the second woman, the lawyer, she had knew about the Monopoly money story. So we trying to figure out, like, how did that story sound familiar when we are in different states. So that's the recap of the Monopoly money story. So this is story time of how the feds in my city, Lexington, Kentucky, and a detective know that I'm observant. And of course, I do not want to tell this story, but this story will be relevant. And I know they gonna be. I told my friend, I said, I know they sick of me. You understand why? So I had told y'all before that I had blamed myself for my death of my brother. Not only did God let me dream it, but the night that the incident happened, I told you that something just kept telling me. It was in my spirit, like to go out, go out. And I was playing music and I'm listening to some music, and I was like, let me call him because I know if I'm gonna call, if he's gonna be with me. We gonna go out. And so I was about to call him, and then I was stopping. I'm like, nah, because I would have my party drug that I would uh do, and I'm like, nah, that's the devil. I need to study for the psychology, but it kept on and kept on. I mean, I could not shake this feeling. And so I wound up going to sleep only for hours later to be waking up that, what happened to my brother. And so I blamed myself. I blamed myself and blamed myself. So, of course, after that, I had wound up, having to numb my pain. So, because I feel bad, I feel like God was trying to tell me, and I dreamed it, and I felt like the dream, I was supposed to have stopped it. Then I felt like he was giving me the sign, you know, and so I was at this house. I was at this crazy. I was at this house, right, with somebody, and so we, the person serving, and then we getting high too. You know what I'm saying? And so, after a while, I heard something outside. Like they had, it was like some metal decorations in the yard, and whoever was out there had hit it. So I heard, and I'm on the couch, like away from the window, and the window blinds was closed, but you could slightly see. And it was like somebody was in a blue shirt. And I was like, hey, somebody better knock on the door because he been serving this woman. Right? He been serving this woman. Uh, and he goes to the door. He don't see nobody. So he's like, you tripping. I'm like, nah, I know I didn't. And so I waited for a while. And I get up and I looks at the blinds. And as I'm looking at the blinds, I'm seeing a white man with a blue shirt on his phone. But he's looking up at the house. And in my mind, I'm like, and I said, and then after he did that, he walks down this way. And I said, hey, dog, somebody's out there. They done got this address. They getting this address. The person's like, you tripping. You tripping. That I can kind of see why, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, I ain't tripping. So I gets back up a couple minutes later, peeps back out the blinds, right? Now the woman that he's been serving is walking down this way. And I said, dog, don't let her in. She's an informant. He was like, dog, you over tripping. I'm like, dog, don't let her in. Don't let her in. She's an informant. He lets her in. And he's trying to tell us, like, this is my, I said, I'm up out of here. I made sure I had nothing on me. Nothing illegal on me. I goes, gets in my car. I had a Ford Explorer. I jumps and I'm over here on. So anybody from my town, this I'm telling you, on Alexander. Not the one with Kroger's, is that the one with the Speedway Super America, whichever one is called now. I'm over that on that side. So I'm at the three-way, four-way stop before you get into the corner of Versailles Road. So I'm at the stop sign. After that, it on this side, it was the Fed car started boom, 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 and I'm like, oh shit, cause now they flying to the house, and I'm like, oh, they about to get him, they about to get him. So I'm trying to call, ain't answering. I'm like, so I calls my cousin. I'm like, hey dog, I was just talking to the feds, man. I get on Versailles Road by the marathon. I'm thinking I'm clear, scared to death, because I'm like, they done busted the house. Only for a white truck get behind me, they start following me. How they was doing it though, man, it was cold to them. It was cold to them. They would be, I took them all around town. I heard them out Taste Creek. I did. I had them out Taste Creek. I mean, and then it was at one time with me and another one of them, because they would be in different cars. But then the little Explorer, they be in the white one with the tin wheels. One of them, we was looking back and forth at each other, right? To this day, I don't know why they didn't pull me over, but I'm thankful. Let me thank. And so after I had them, I guess because I wasn't showing them, like speed, and I was, I don't know. So after that, I would notice, like, I would, the house didn't get kicked in. They didn't bust the house. And I was like, so I'm telling the person, and they like, oh, you tripping. So they not believing me. And I'm like, dog, they was following me. So I made sure after that that they, like, I wasn't doing this. I try to wait, and then I would wait to go out, wait a while, because I'm like, and it's like anytime I would do that, I would notice like these cars following me. It'd be like the same kind of cars, and I could even be with people, and then they'd be like, nah. And I was telling one of my best friends, so anything that ever happens to me, I can tell her some stuff and she'll be, for a minute, she'll listen, but she be knowing because of this incident right here. So I'm trying to tell her, like, dog, it's these cars that be following. I mean, it be some weird stuff happening. So she's thinking I'm tripping, you know what I'm saying? Thinking I'll be dibbing and dabbing and stuff like that. But I'm like, even when I would be high, it seemed like I had extra X-rays or something. I mean, and I was just like, so one day I went to the store. My son's father. One night, me and my son's father and the children, we had went to the store, and I was this white woman that came to the car, and she was like, she looked like she was homeless, asking for $1 so she can get some cigarettes, and he gave it to her, but she's on his side, but it was a white car that I seen that she had gotten out of, but I'm not paying in no mind, you know what I'm saying? So he gives it to her, and all sees her, and then, we leave. The next morning, I get up, and I looks outside and up the street. My sister used to date this guy, right? His granny had died, but it was his house, but he wasn't living there, so the house was empty. So when I went outside to smoke a cigarette, I see some wheels. You know how the wheels bust, but it was the wheels car in the driveway of the house that should be empty. But it's like when they see me, they pulls off. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, nah, I don't want to think that they over here trying to keep an eye on me to let them know that I'm, I'm up and about to be out and about. So then we got dressed. Me and the kids, we got in the car. My son's father, uh, going to PNC Bank, to his bank, and I was in the car with the children and my daughter, and a woman walks to the car, and she was like, "Do you got a cigarette?" And I'm looking at her, so I'm like, "This is the same woman from last night." And I was like, because I don't know if she, if she want my voice on this recording or what, from in that house incident or whatnot. And so when she walks off, I was like, it looked like the woman from last night. My daughter was like, that's what I was thinking. So my son's father comes in the car and said, look, take me over my friend's house. Take me over there. He takes me over there. We on Yellowstone. Okay, we on Yellowstone. I'm sitting on the porch. She's in the house. She's doing something. I'm waiting for her to come out. But by this time, I'm taking pictures of these different cars. I'm taking pictures of these different cars. I've been telling her that I've been being followed, watched by these people, you know what I'm saying, by the feds. She comes outside. She's sitting down. I'm just letting her talk and just talk. I'm not trying to, I'm just letting her talk and stuff. Then I was like, look at that car right there. She looks. And I was like, and look at this. And I shows her my phone from where I've been. And she's like, so I'm each time these cars, different cars, I'm showing her like they keep on. She's like, then the detective, and it's beat down, and I'm sick of seeing that car, one of them old in the heat of the, they look like a old in the heat of the night type kind of that tannish brownish. He need to go on and upgrade that. So he comes and he comes past our house, and then he turns on Alumni coming up, turns left on Alumni. So she sees them. She's like, after she's noticing these Fed cars, but they like in trucks. They not like in the specific, like the little Explorer. Like, no, they like trucks, like regular different, like a regular person's trucks with the tinted windows. You know what I'm saying? So he turns left on Alumni. Few minutes later, he comes back. Go past the house, and by this time she's pointing to him, like, and she's like, "We see you," and he's looking back, right? That was the moment that she knew. She was like, you know what, Crystal, for a minute, I thought you was tripping. So anytime I tell her anything, you know what I'm saying, I could tell her it seemed like the wildest thing. She'll be like, because she's seen for herself where, you know, and I'm just like, so point of being, I tells the guy, the house that I was at, I'm like, look, dog, these people, I've been telling him, I was like, look, it was this woman, I seen her last night, then I seen her this morning, and he's like, thinking I'm kind of tripping, but then he calls back. He's like, dog, what kind of car did you say that woman was? I was like, it was like a white car. He was like, it's strange for you to say that because somebody else said it. It was like a white woman in a white car that somebody in a white car that was following them. So I'm trying to tell him, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, he didn't want to believe me, kind of. I guess he was, I don't know what it was. You know, sometimes people don't believe it and they got to be the ones to see it. So I done warned them. I done warned them. And then after that, the house that I was in, and this is proof, and I can be able to prove this because I would know what house it was. The house got busted within 2 weeks after I was in there. And I know for a fact they was going to bust it in at that, but from where I heard the noise, then I looked out of the window and I seen the man getting the address. It's like I automatically like I put it together. I don't even know how. Like that's why I say I think God was just all them with some tests too of the discernment and judging and knowing what people's motives is before it even happened. So they bust the house in 2 to 3 weeks later, right? But he's not in the house no more. He's not in the house. He wound up moving to a different spot. Meanwhile, they still following me around and stuff. And that's why my friends like, you just gotta be chill out. They just trying to see what they had me kind of like, slight way think I was Big Meats or Larry Hoover or something there this month. And then I got tired of it because I'm like, look, all these people that be on Facebook down here, they mess with who they want to mess with because I get on Facebook and just see people just be like, hey, here I am. You mean to tell me you keep following me? Hey, they had me feel like I'm for real. I was doing big things. So they wanted this guy so bad. Okay. He wound up going somewhere. Went to Florida. They did not want him to get on the plane to come back. They went to Florida and got him themselves and brought him back. So with that being said, hood story is telling. Sometimes people see things that other people don't. And, you know, me being in that house, my instinct, trusting your instinct, trusting your instinct, most definitely, you know, uh, it was kind of, it was something. And so with me, the reason why me saying that is because, you know, I know and how I say to people, they going to be like, we sick and tired of her due to, you know, I stopped them from doing something from busting into that house while I was in there. I did because from what I've noticed, so they can know I'm observant, and I'm telling you these things because it's just proven facts of I was on Alexander. The house did 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later, and the person that was in this house at this time, they went all the way to Florida. So they know that I'm observant. I'm only telling you this because what basically I've been telling you in my story time is I'm slowly but surely giving you my evidence of my case. You know what I'm saying? This is like hood court, internet court, basically. And so I was telling my friend, you know, now I'm starting on this other book, and I told you, manifested only to destroy. And I said, I know they like, we sick of her. She's sitting over here. Then another time I had my brother after his death, they wanted me to do jury duty, and I told them they had me sign a paper of when I wanted to postpone it, or if you want to postpone it, and I put on there forever. And then the woman was like, "No, we can't do that," which I wound up getting out of. I told them that since my brother didn't get no justice, then ain't nobody gonna get it. But I said that to get out of it, and that's how I felt. I ain't about to sugarcoat nothing. That's how I felt at the time. So, and they better not put me on nobody's jury duty. I guess they took me out, which I'm thankful for the judge that did that. I believe she was about to retire or whatnot. But yeah. And so then writing a book, now I'm about to talk smack. Not really. I don't want to use smack because it's just going to be things about with my brother's cases. With his case, with the prosecutor and the detective. Um, then I told you how this psychologist and then the lawyer woman that I've manifested only to destroy. And I was telling my my friend, I said, I know they like she just we done followed all around town, couldn't get her. Now she's about to dog us in this book, talk about basically I got to. But the second book, I was trying to help them out by leading people away from the street life. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that they would be, and now she's over here. So yeah, this is a good story that I definitely didn't want to tell you, but this is a story that they know because I had stopped them from doing their job at one morning. I did, and that's on my brother. And like I say, the house within a few weeks, and the same person they went to Florida to go get, and that ain't no coincidence. And I have a friend that have proof of me having to. And it's crazy because I hit a break and I said, why do I always? But she don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? So if she did, I would have went to her house because I knew they was going to be watching her too. I tell her, I said, why do I always bring it to